going to be making a little bit more bodybuilding content for you guys, practical advice from my experience in the gym. I've been lifting since I was 16. I'm 26 now, so 10 years in the gym. A couple years off during that time, focusing on some other things. But that was when I started 10 years ago, and I've learned a lot of things in that time, made a lot of mistakes. And speaking of mistakes, today we're going to be going over the top 5 important muscles beginners specifically accidentally avoid training when starting in the gym and building out your workout programs, etc. So let's get right into it. Number 1 is going to be forearms. Forearms is something that I was told in the beginning. You get enough training forearms from, your pulling movements, when you do your back exercises, stuff like that. And this simply is not the case. You need to hit your forearms directly with hypertrophy work, working sets, going to failure, where your forearms are the muscle that is a limiting factor in that exercise and is going to reach failure. The main 2 forearm exercises that I recommend are going to be reverse grip curls. I could do these with a barbell. An easy bar is a little bit better because you can kind of slightly angle it, a little more comfortable grip. You could also do these on a cable with a bar attachment from the ground, pulling up. That's going to be awesome for specifically the top side of the forearm that is kind of on the outside of your arm, that meaty part right about here. That's going to be great for that muscle. You'll see that going to failure on those reverse curls are going to be very effective. In addition, I also like to do wrist curls. You can do a variety of different type of wrist curls. My favorite type is I'm going to be seated down on a bench. I'm going to have my forearm resting kind of diagonally downwards on my inner thigh in a similar position to how someone would be doing a concentration curl, except for instead of my elbow on my thigh, it's going to be my forearm. I'm just going to let the weight come all the way down with a dumbbell, even extend my fingers as it comes all the way down, and then curl it back up in this motion like this. All right, but it would be, my knuckles would be facing the ground right now. Okay, so this motion, I feel like it's a great stretch on the forearms. Those 2 are going to be great. You can also throw in wrist extensions as well here and there. Will help with forearm growth. That one gets hit a bit when you do the reverse curls, so sometimes I skip that one. But the other 2 are going to be absolutely necessary for hitting your forearms. You guys do not want to get really big arms and have forearms that are going to be really undeveloped. I hit that point in my physique, and as you guys see here in this picture, once I started adding forearm exercises, my arms looked much better, and it was much more satisfying having nice big forearms, especially because your forearms are kind of like a show muscle. They're really the muscle that is showing probably more than any other muscle typically, because when you wear shirts, no matter what, your forearms are going to be fully showing. Even like your shoulders and your biceps and triceps aren't always fully showing when you wear shirts, unless you wear tank tops. The shoulders still give that width, of course, which is important, but the forearms are always showing. So if you have nice jacked forearms, it really makes your physique look a lot better. You look a lot stronger and more aesthetic. Number 2 muscle that most beginners, including myself, I see end up skipping is going to be the long head of the tricep. So this is going to be the long head of the tricep that attaches from right behind the bottom side of the back of the shoulder all the way to the elbow, and it is what is visible when you throw up double biceps right here. Okay, the other side, when you do the side tricep pose, that's going to be the lateral head of the tricep, and that's going to be trained better by doing push downs. So I see what I did for myself when it came to triceps when I first started was just tons and tons of rope push downs. Push downs, push downs, push downs, push downs. My lateral head of my tricep was going really well, growing like crazy. Eventually, as I went on, I realized that when I flexed from the front, my triceps didn't really look that good. My arms didn't really look that big, and that was because I was missing the long head of the tricep. The way you want to train to target these is going to be doing tricep extensions, but it's going to be over the head with the triceps in the stretched position. Don't just do push downs, do overhead extensions. That's going to hit the long head of the tricep and which is also the biggest head of the tricep, and it's going to make your arms look a lot bigger from your front double bicep poses and just from the back in general. The number 3 muscle that I see a lot of beginners avoid training and is underdeveloped, even I see this in more intermediate and sometimes advanced lifters, is going to be the front delt. And the reason that this is because there is this advice, quote unquote, going around that you don't need to directly hit front delts because they get enough work from your chest pressing movements. And while it's true the front delt does get hit when you do these movements, it is not the limiting factor. It is not being worked to failure. So what I did is I listened to this advice that was considered to be fact. You just don't need to trade front delts directly, is what a lot of people will say. And a lot of people, I think this does work for them. I think that when they do chest pressing, they actually do get insane front delt work. I think that is because they have improper form. If you have proper form, like I do when it comes to chest pressing, you know what I feel is the limiting factor and what hits failure and what I'm stimulating when I do my chest pressing? My chest. Yes, my front delt feels a little bit, but it's not going to failure. It's not getting that failure stimulus that it needs to really induce maximum hypertrophy. Even in my incline pressing, I feel it in my upper chest. That is my limiting factor. That is what's hitting failure. So I see these guys that have physiques where their chests are underdeveloped. Like, yeah, I never hit front delts. I just do chest pressing and I hit it through that. That's because they have improper form. They're allowing their delts to handle most of the pressing work instead of having proper form, opening up that chest and having that chest be the one that's actually getting the stimulus from those chest presses. So this is a problem I had for a while. Now, as you see, my front delts look a lot better, a lot more roundness to the shoulder. Back before I started hitting front delts more, this is the past like few months too that I kind of noticed this with my physique, is that my front of my shoulder was kind of flat. Then I had this kind of roundness going into the bicep. As you see, it was kind of just like flat and then into the bicep. More so than my lateral delts and my rear delts, which were always one of the strongest parts of my physiques. So I started a lot more shoulder press. And at the start of my workouts, prioritizing it, shoulder pressing, front raising with an underhand grip like this with dumbbells or with a cable are going to be great to target that front delt. You guys definitely want to hit front delts if you want a nice aesthetic physique, because delts are important and you don't want to just have them flat while the lateral and rear delts are developed. The fourth muscle I see a lot of beginners at the gym neglect, and even advanced lifters, guys that I know who are other bodybuilders, maybe not pros, but some amateurs who I know, miss hitting this muscle, and that is going to be the outer calf. Yes, the outer calf. And this is because the outer calf is going to be explicitly hit better in positions where you're doing calf raises with a bent knee rather than a straight knee. If you're going to choose one, yes, the straight knee is better. Studies have found that overall it hits the entire calf better than doing them with a bent knee. So standing calf raises on a leg press machine, Smith machine, etc. This is going to build more of that inner bulge of the calf. It's still going to build the outer calf too, but what totally transformed my calf development was when I started incorporating seated calf raises into my leg days, and I could feel these way more hitting that outer calf, where it is now the limiting factor of achieving failure with my calf raises. What this has done is made my calves much more round. Instead of just having that bulging inner calf and kind of like a flat outer calf, my outer calf much more round now. It looks much better. It's made a huge difference the way I train them. And beginners especially are not going to really be conscious of this. But I've also seen intermediates and advanced not train calves hitting that outer calf. So that's going to be very important to hit as well. Calves are a very important part of your physique. It's what's shown the most when you wear shorts and stuff like that, and having big calves. Everyone wants big calves. So if you're going to train them, if you want big calves, hit those seated calf raises in addition to your straight leg calf raises for well-rounded development. And the number 5 muscle group that people in general, especially beginners, don't think to train, they accidentally skip training this very important muscle in the gym, is going to be abs. A lot of people, they do train abs, but they train abs on a mat. They do routines, 5-10 minute routines of abs on the mat, crunches, planks, stuff like that. This is going to be very ineffective to create optimum ab hypertrophy compared to what I recommend, which is going to be weighted ab exercises that you can progressively overload within an optimal hypertrophy rep range, just like how you would grow any other muscle. If you say, I'm going to do a 10-minute ab routine on the mats, that's like saying, to grow my legs, I'm going to do Stairmaster. No, you don't grow your legs doing Stairmaster. Will it cause growth over time? Sure. Yeah, it probably will cause growth if you kill yourself on the Stairmaster pretty often. But it's not going to be as effective as doing heavy pressing, leg pressing, squats to failure within a reasonable rep range. That's going to be much more effective to inducing hypertrophy than long cardio type of Stairmaster. And with abs, those cardio abs on the mats. A lot of people just also say, oh, you don't need to train abs because you get enough training when you brace your abs doing, deadlifts or squats or bent over rows, stuff like that. Absolutely not the case. Is your core the limiting factor? Are your abs the limiting factor in those exercises? No, sure, I'm activating it, but I barely feel it. It doesn't make me sore at all. And it's so beneficial to directly train your abs and grow them because what it does is it gives you those nice chunky looking abs. The main thing that's good for is it allows you to see your abs at a higher body fat percentage. I see these guys, influencers, who say, oh, don't train abs. I don't train abs. It makes your waist too big. No, it doesn't make your waist that big by growing your ab a fucking inch out. I mean, it don't even be that much, maybe like a half inch outward compared to what it is now. And these dudes, they're super lean, but their physiques, their midsections are flat, not defined. Even though they're super lean, you can see that there's just a layer of fat over their abs. Even if they're super shredded, even if you can see their abs, it's not that defined. They'd be so much better off directly training abs, making them pop. Their midsections will look so much more impressive, so much more aesthetic. And even when you're at higher body fat percentages, you can see your abs much more since they're popping out. So I urge you guys, don't just wait for your cuts to train abs too. Do these during your bulks. You can actually add mass to your abdominal muscles so that they bulge out more and they actually look good and strong and impressive and can be seen at higher body fat percentages. And when you are shredded, they look that much more impressive. Super, super important to train abs to failure. I like to do decline crunches with weights. So 45-pound weight now, start with none. If you're just starting out, add a 10, then a 25, then a 45, 10 to 20 rep range is what I recommend. You can also do weighted ab machines. I love those, especially ones where you put your feet in and you crunch inwards and downwards, up with your knees and down with your chest at the same time. That's gonna be important. So you guys want to hit the lower abs. Lower abs are hit by bringing your pelvis up towards your midline, and upper abs are trained by bringing your chest down to your midline. So important that you hit both those there, in addition to some oblique work. Some side bend with a cable or crunches will be good for those as well. I'm also going to give a bonus one here. It's going to be a bonus because it's not something that I train specifically, but this is going to be neck. And neck is going to be very important for making you look more masculine, more attractive, tougher, more intimidating. I think guys with small necks, you just look kind of weak and a little more feminine. So directly train your neck with hypertrophy work can benefit you. I don't never done an actual neck hypertrophy exercise in my life. What I did was I just trained grappling. I trained martial arts. That's what I recommend you to do as well, because if you're on this channel, sure, we're also bodybuilding, but that's not the main goal of following the Evolve method. Is become the best version of ourselves, and you need to do martial arts to become the best version of yourself. Once you get to a certain point of satisfaction with your physique and bodybuilding and actual confidence in the way you look. I have a pretty thick neck. As you can see, it's grown a lot from where it was. All I did was grappling. I didn't do any neck exercises, and additional bonus is that I can pretty confidently choke out any man unconscious if in a fair 1v1 fight. Any average guy who's untrained, which is 99% of men, can choke him unconscious pretty effortlessly because I put that time into grappling. So it's just another awesome bonus to training grappling. But if you're not training right now and you want to grow your neck hypertrophy exercises are going to be great as well. Just do a surge, weighted like this. You can do some sides as well. It's going to be all you need. So those are the top 5 underrated and accidentally undertrained muscles in the body that beginners especially, but some even intermediate and advanced gym goers skip on accident and don't realize how important it is to actually hit it directly, with it being a limited factor in the movement and it reaching failure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you tried any of these exercises, if you agree with me, let me know any other ones that people, or that you think that you notice people don't train as much as they should, and what exercises you use to hit those. Please leave a like on this video if you guys want to see more bodybuilding type content. Thanks for watching, and as always, subscribe for truth. Peace.